Hi everyone, I wish you all a very happy new year 2021. And as you may have noticed, we are starting off this new year with a bang because there are a lot of things happening in the world right now, and there's a lot of intense energy. Maybe some of you find it exciting, maybe others find it scary. But anyway, I wanted to share with you a couple of messages that I received for 2021. And the first image that I had for this year was I was seeing a hand on a stereo just increasing the volume. And it's as if in 2020 there was, we put on a sound, and that in 2021 this sound is going to increase in volume and increase therefore in intensity. And what I also understood when I saw this was that it's like some voices will be heard more loudly and clearly in 2021. So 2021 is going to be a year of great purge, of great cleansing. It's going to be also a year of division. And I feel it's going to be stronger even than in 2020. Because there are so many things that are gonna come up. And actually we didn't even have the time to digest what happened in 2020, that we're already, in these new energies of 2021. It's already very intense. And, it's gonna be, the beginning of the year 2021 is very much gonna be a continuity of what happened in 2020. And as I say each year when I do these energy forecasts for the year, for me the real new year is really at the spring equinox. And I think that this year in spring we're going to feel that there's going to be a more tangible, positive change happening, and certainly concerning all this sanitary crisis that we're going through right now. So in this year 2021 we are going to separate the wheat from the chaff. And it's going to be a year of great crisis for the collective. And we should not fear this crisis, because crisis is necessary. Crisis brings metamorphosis. Crisis brings transformation. And this transformation can be seen as an alchemical transformation. Because the unconscious, the collective unconscious, is going to rise up so it can be seen. And I think it's Jung that talked about this, because he was interested in these ancient alchemical manuscripts, where he actually found out that this quest that the alchemists had to transform matter are really related to this transformation that we experience on a psychological level and a spiritual level as well, where we dive into the unconscious, into our shadow, for it to be revealed, for it to be transformed. We could say that in 2020 the abscess was punctured, and the period between 2020 and 2025 is going to be a big period of transition for humanity, and 2021 is really a big year for purging, for cleansing. And it's true that for ages the scales have tilted towards the darkness, towards destruction. And now progressively we are seeing that it's coming into balance again, and the scales are tilting towards more and more towards the light and towards resurrection. And I'm also using the word resurrection because there is really a great parallel with the story of Christ, what we're going through as a collective right now. I will probably talk about it in a separate video or a separate message, because there's really a lot to say on that subject. The Christ energy is very present right now in the collective, and I can also feel very strongly the energy of Joan of Arc. In March 2020 I published a video called "The Light Has Already Won," and some people actually messaged me recently to tell me that what is happening right now really reminds them of what I was saying in that video. So if you are new here on this channel, maybe you want to just watch that video so you can understand better what I'm talking about in this one. And they were saying that not only did it help them to go through 2020 in a more positive way, but also that it actually made them become aware of aspects of reality that they weren't aware of before. What happened during that time, so when I published that video, is that the basis for what we are experiencing right now were set. And now it's almost like it's all unwinding. And of course this unwinding will lead to a big shock wave in the collective, a big awakening in the collective, as more and more truths will be revealed, more and more lies will be revealed. It's like we've been living in a world that is upside down, a world where the values are inverted, and once we kind of turn it around, then and we are straight back up again, there is a moment where we feel very uncomfortable, we feel dizzy, we feel challenged and destabilized by what is happening. So it's very comparable to hypnosis, the hypnosis state. As you know, most of the collective is under hypnosis in a sort of trance, where they are being fed suggestions and information, and we say to them, that's the truth, that's the truth, that's the truth. When they wake up from that hypnosis and they realize that everything they have been told was the truth was actually a lie, it's a very big shock and it's quite traumatic. And as a hypnotherapist, I use hypnosis for the light, I use hypnosis for therapy. But when you are in a modified state of consciousness and very deeply in those states, and sometimes you really can, journey inside yourself very deeply. When you come out of a session, of a hypnosis session, it takes some time to adjust. When you open your eyes, you have to come back, you have to, you can feel a little dizzy, you can feel a little bit confused, and that's totally normal. So this is going to happen on a collective level. A lot of people are going to wake up from this hypnosis and they will feel very dizzy and very uncomfortable. So now I'm really going to talk about, for me, the most important message of this video and for 2021. It's our mission and our role as Lightworkers right now, concerning all these people that will wake up. We need really to accompany them. We need to support them in this awakening. For some of us, we have been woke for a long time. In my case, it's been like 15 years. And it's true that sometimes we get impatient and we want people to wake up, and we anticipate this moment where people are going to wake up on a massive scale. And we can also have this tendency that comes from the ego to say to these people, look, I was right all the time, and you were wrong. So we need to be careful with that. We also need to respect the free will of these people. We can only sow some seeds, and they only decide if they want to grow those seeds or not. I've also had examples during these past years where I was giving information to some people and suddenly they had an awakening, and then suddenly something happened and they went back again to sleep. This can also happen because suddenly they just got scared of what they were discovering and they just might completely shut it down, or they are scared to be isolated from the group, because this is also something that is very anchored in the subconscious of human beings, is that if you don't have the same opinion or the same ideas of the group, then you are going to be isolated from the group and you might even die. So it really touches that sense of survival. So this cleansing will happen through justice, through trials, through arrests, through also a cleansing of the financial system. There's going to be a financial reset, but a positive one. It's going to be the end of debt. I would suggest, like I always do, that for the time being, for this transition, it's always interesting to have material goods, material assets such as precious metals, land or real estate. I don't personally believe so much in cryptocurrencies. I know that some people do, and that's totally fine. I think they probably have a role also to, in this transition, but I wouldn't count on them personally. That's my personal opinion. In 2021, lightworkers that are not in the right place professionally will also be guided to change the area maybe where they work. So this doesn't mean that as a lightworker we all have to work in the spiritual field or the self-help field or coaching or whatever. It doesn't mean that. It just means that we all emanate a certain vibration and we all are needed in certain areas in all walks of life. So there might be some changes on that level for some of us. So as light workers, we are really here to help and support all these people that are going to wake up. And I know that sometimes it's also hard because sometimes when we are woke, some people around us, in our family or close friends, there are not. And sometimes we are simply labeled as conspiracy theorists or just being completely nuts or whatever. And I've heard some difficult, stories also where people are completely ostracized from their families or their friends just because they think differently and have a different perspective on things. So I would suggest, if you are in this case, if you feel isolated, really try to meet people who are on the same wavelength as you. Do not stay isolated, especially during these times. It's really important. So concerning this cleavage in 2021, because I really feel that 2021 is going to be a year where there's going to be more division, probably even more division than in 2020. The first thing is I know we all aspire to unity, but we also need to accept when there is division. We need to accept that some people do not have the same opinions, they don't have the same perspectives as we do, and of course we can't force anything onto someone. It has to be like an organic process. And in the end, everyone is right. Because if we look at someone, for example, who is in a dark room, and there are many objects, different objects in the room, but there's only one spotlight that is on one object. So this person, the observer, only sees one object. That's the only reality they can perceive. Of course, the other objects also exist, but they are still in the shadow. But it is only the decision of this person, this observer, to switch on the other spotlights on the other objects to become aware of them or not. And they can choose to do that. They can even choose to, switch on the big light in the room, and then they have a global perspective, which is more like the higher self, let's say. But again, it only belongs to the observer to do that or not. So in other words, we might be aware of different things that are hidden to the eyes of others, but it is only their choice to perceive what exists outside of their perceived reality or not. Another message I got for 2021, and of course this is also valid beyond 2021, it's that we need to realize how we are creators and how we can use our creativity, because we are all artists in the end. The source has created us as creators and artists. Even if we are not aware of it in our daily life, we always create something. And you know how artists, they create, they receive the inspiration, so it's a kind of idea, a kind of energy that's going to give them an impulse to take action and to create something. So for example, a painter will have an image in his head of a painting, and he will grab his brushes and start painting. A musician might hear a melody in his head and he's going to be inspired to create a piece of music or a song. A writer is going to have an idea of what he wants to write, what story he wants to write, and then he's going to start writing, and all the words are going to pour through him into the creation. So we are all channeling this potential of creativity. And it's the same when we look at the new earth. We all are inspired by this new earth, and we are all going to be able to manifest this new earth through our actions, through what we create. And all that we are creating individually, of course, is a co-creation that we create also collectively. And I had this beautiful image of a big book that opened up filled with light, and I heard the message, write the book of your life. And this is really what we are guided to do for manifesting this new earth, I think. It's that as we write the book of our own lives, we are writing the book of this planet and of this new earth. So we should really reconnect with this power that we hold, which is the power of creation. It's the power of creativity, so we can co-create this new earth that we want to see manifested on this earth plane. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that there are so many things going on, so much information on social media, what is true, what is not true, what are the sources, etc. All the things that we can't control in the end. We can't control what's happening outside there. But what we can control, and what powerful tools that we really have as light workers, are meditation and prayer. So we can combine both. We can do either just meditation or just prayer, whatever we feel inspired to do. But I would really suggest that we take at least, once a day the time to come back inside, come back to our bodies, ground ourselves in our bodies, because our bodies is also, going through a lot right now, and it really needs grounding, and which really needs care. Come back also to the breathing, and be in this state of mindfulness. And then, of course, we can also use prayer, because prayer is a very powerful tool. It's not only for, old grannies, religious grannies or whatever. It's something that we can also use as light workers to manifest things that we want to see in this world. And if we all start praying, we all start meditating together, it really creates a very nice collective energy that really helps to elevate the vibration of the planet. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Sat Nam.